All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another... Whoops, muted. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Drums and Drams, to another Thursday night live stream. I think I just said that. We're a little later than normal, 9 p.m. start time this evening, because I had to get a quick video out. I saw the press release hit for the Heaven Hill 18, which is why I actually still have this on the table. I literally filmed that video like at 7:30 or something. So I just did it, ate dinner real quick, and here we are. But I thought it'd be good to get that video out tonight. Just was like thinking, I knew that Heaven Hill 18, I knew that's what the release was going to be. I saw the TTB filing a little bit ago, but then the press release hit today. It reminded me, I should make that video. And the press release had some interesting information, or at least some of the commentary on the press release. So if you haven't checked that video out after the stream, do it. You know, right now, don't do it. Hang out on the stream. Let's hang out together. Let's drink whiskey together, and maybe some Armagnac. Got one of these up here too. But yeah, we're going to have a good night tonight. I got some cool stuff to taste. I have about a bajillion samples that people have sent in over the last week. And actually, I don't really remember when the last live stream was. I guess I should look. Things have been kind of sporadic. I mean, I feel like I've been keeping up the content. There was a little lull there for a few days, but being for a few days it's not a bad thing. I mean, things have been going strong recently. So we did a live stream last week, and maybe even 2 weeks ago. So actually, maybe I have been doing live streams. It just feels like I haven't, because there are so many videos in between them now. Anyway, so what do I have? I still have some Michter's 10 in my glass from filming that video a second ago. So we'll start the night with some Michter's 10 rye. And this is it's not a 2023. I have this up in the news video, but this is actually a 2019 that I just opened the other night. I was saying cheers to somebody. He was talking about a family member, perhaps, in the chat, and I'm sorry that I can't remember who that was, but anyways, that's when I cracked this bottle open, I believe maybe on last week's live stream. So what is up, guys? I'm not going to put everybody's name on the screen, but I see Casey D in here, Josh, Jonathan, Michael. Good evening to all of you. Travis, Toshi. Guys, there's no giveaway tonight. As you know, I've been incredibly behind on giveaways, and I am deep in the throes of packing boxes and shipping things now. So today was my first FedEx trip, and if there's going to be a trip every day, probably until Monday, to get all of these things out. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. So tomorrow, the remainder of the bottles should go out, and maybe like 2 sample packs or something. There's fuzz flying around here. But yeah, I'm deep in the throes of that. It would not be fair to do another giveaway on the channel until I am caught up. And so any super chats tonight, you know, are for the channel fund and for me to say thank you. Very much appreciated, but there's just no giveaway on the other end of it. I'm sorry about that, but just is what it is tonight. So I'll throw this banner up here. And speaking of which, Toshi, I just want to publicly shout out Toshi Bake, because he did send a super chat in direct to Venmo. A very generous $50 super chat. He said, excited for the live. Early weekend for me since I'm taking tomorrow off to head to the slopes. That sounds like a lot of fun. And Dustin Pullman was saying that he also took tomorrow off. He sent me a message earlier, so he said he was waiting on the live stream. So cheers to both of you guys. And thank you, Toshi, for the super chat, man. Let me know what you guys are sipping on this evening. Any new pickups? Has anybody tried the Michter's 2023 10-year rye? That's the question of the hour, or maybe of the next like 7 minutes. What's up, Jerry H, Zach Butler? Good to see all you guys, Mr. Zetro, Travis. I'm always late, guys. If the stream's at 9, it's at 9:05. You know. And today I was late on stage. I was playing snare drum on stage, and I guess I was late. The soloist, sax soloist, killer player. There's like about a 40-foot distance between us, 50 feet, whatever, on stage. And he was like, the snare drummer's behind. So, damn. I'll get it tomorrow. What's up, Jeff Perkins? Whiskey BS. Always champs. Ron, I see you. Okay, what do we got? Anyone a fan of Noah's Mill? So, a couple things we're going to taste tonight. You saw the thumbnail up at the last minute, which is why there's only 80 people in here right now. Hit that like button, please. Let's get some more folks in here. If anybody got Matt's, the Matt Porter ADHD we'll just call this the tooth bottle. I think he called it that, so I feel like I can call it that. If anybody else got the tooth bottle, go get it, because we're going to taste it together tonight. I can't wait. Couple things to taste. The Barrel King, obviously. I have samples from Jeb. Thank you, Jeb. These are not the only ones. Trust me, guys. There was a whole shitload of them, and I thank you so much, Jeb. Angel's Envy 2023 Cask Strength Rye and Bourbon. So this is going to be fun tonight. I have Jeb's Whiskey Blendery Double Jeopardy. I think I'll taste that tonight. He also sent me a 13th Colony Single Barrel, the Whiskey Row pick. If anybody has that pick, grab that too, because we're going to taste that tonight. I know Heaven Hill 17's up here, but I need to get this away from here. I'm going to drink it. I'll pull this back out maybe tonight, this Old Stubborn. Fred Minnick put a review up. We can talk about it. What else? I have probably 30 samples sitting next to me on this little tray of things that people have sent in. So I just want to publicly shout out Mitchell Chun, Amy Bohm, Lido, Jeb, obviously Jimmy Copeland, and Tim B last week. Just, you guys are awesome. Sent so many samples. I have more than I can handle. I will do one blind pour tonight. I'll let you guys pick it. Amy sent me 1 through 5 mystery samples. We'll figure out which one of those I'm going to do, and we'll do one of them live because I have 5 of them, and they're individualized, and so there's more than enough to go around between this stream and the videos I'm going to make with them later. Okay, Always Champ says, anyone a fan of Noah's Mill? I find it a bit odd, but seem to keep going back. I hate Noah's Mill with a passion. Almost pulled the trigger on a dusty one recently, a 2014, but I just decided, let it be. Because if it's good, that means I got to go find another one. And I don't want to have to do that. Sean Holtgrave is sitting down for a 4-glass Bunnahabhain tasting. I have a 2023 Bunnahabhain Cask Strength 12-year on the way right now. So that's going to be popping up on a Scotch Sunday or maybe even somewhere else. What's up, Marty? No problem, man. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to be there. I believe that's the week I was really sick that I missed that. Jeb, no giveaway? Good night. Yeah. There he is. There's Dustin. Yeah, man, taking the day off tomorrow. Gonna have some pours together here. All right, Mike. Good to see you, Mike H. Okay, Jonathan Edie says, Michter's 10 Rye is good. I got an H batch, and that's what everybody's been saying, these H barrels or something. Again, guys, who knows? I don't know when all they put the 10-year rye out this past year, so someone mentioned a B barrel to me. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole again. My wallet can't afford it. So Michter's Toasted Rye, nice, Anthony. I'm curious about the 23. Alec S. with some Maker's Cask. Good. What is up, Mark Vasco? Scott for 180 wasn't impressed with it. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to keep scrolling down here. I like bourbon a lot. Has one of those H barrels unopened. Pink Dan, wait, you get multiple bottles for signing up? No, this is not from a membership. This was the thing that the Bourbon Junkies did with Barrel King to support Matt. It was kind of a one-off thing. Whiskey Nose sipping a Glenallachie 10-year cask strength. I think I have one of those. I think that's one of the samples that came in, but I'd be hard-pressed to find it right now. Noah P. I would have to have... Noah, I would have to have Toshi's permission to open this on this live. I was gonna, I was possibly gonna use this on a video. I didn't know where I was gonna use this, but Toshi did send me this little taster of a very old St. Nick 17-year lost barrel. That's exactly what's in here, 108.3 proof. Toshi, you let me know, man, because I'm more than happy to save this for a video. It's an epic thing that I'm not gonna probably ever taste again. What's up, JG? Okay, well let's taste something. What are we gonna do first? Thinking about proof here. I mean, these are all actually pretty high proof. We might start with some of the Angel's Envy. How does that sound? Maybe we'll do the bourbon first. I may look around and see if there's anything else lower proof that we can kick off with. Oh, here we go. I don't want to do that. let's just kick it off. Let's kick it off with Angel's Envy Cask Strength Bourbon for 2023. That'll be the first one of the night. Toshi says, "Oh, open that shit." Maybe we'll start with it. Hell, maybe I'll put this in a smaller glass. Okay, we're gonna start. We got 100 people in here. Let's start with some very old Saint Nick 17-year Lost Barrel. It's music to my ears, Toshi. All right, let's do this. Holy shit, the color. You know, I should probably get the last couple drops out of there, huh? This stuff isn't growing on trees. I can smell it right now. All right, so I do have to say, though, this is Preservation Distillery, which is the least transparent distillery ever, and none of their stuff says straight whiskey on it, as far as I know. It all just says antique or rare. So I am curious as to, like, what's going on over there. Is that just a tradition thing, or... Because all their stuff comes out with this color. Like, is there something going on? Do you guys know anything about it? Oh, wow. That's... I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. Okay, Anthony, almost picked up. I'm going to let this sit for just a second, get a little air. I'm also deciding whether I should put it in a bigger glass. We'll see. Almost picked up a Michter's 10 I batch 2023. Thought about trading. Anthony, was that a bourbon or a rye? So here we go. Toshi says, all very old St. Nick I've tried sucks badly other than the one I sent you. That's supposedly Stitzelweller, but then again, the person who runs preservation was caught up in the college admission scandal. I did see that. This smells like Stitzel. So I would believe it. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not a Stitzelweller expert by any means. I've tasted my fair share, thanks to the generosity of pretty much Toshi and a few others, you know. But this smells like Stitzelweller. There's a little something else to it. Like, it's weird because if it really is, 17-year Stitzelweller, there's also a little bit of a young oak note to it. So this does have that note that Matt Porter and I have talked about before, which is like that cast iron skillet. That's what he says. I say sometimes it's asphalt. It has that kind of a note to it. Why do I want to say sandpaper? Does sandpaper have a smell? That's weird. Something kind of sandy almost. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. It's a lot of dark, somewhat savory, somewhat sweet notes. Like, we're living in kind of an equal, like this. Okay, in this whiskey, there's like an equal balance of savory, sweet, and what was the other word I was thinking of? It's been a long day. Plato. There is a little Plato note to this, which is why I'm thinking Stitzelweller. And herbal. It's like sweet, savory, and then kind of herbal. Like there's an olive note to this. You know what? Maybe it's balsamic. There's like a balsamic note, olive oil note. These are things that I have tasted on old Stitzelweller, like some old Fitzes from way back. They have these notes, so I would totally believe that. And I'm happy I get to try this right now because it's been a long time since I've had a whiskey with those notes. The last time was Pours in the Park when Chris, Big League Bourbon, opened up a 1960s old Fitz. And Jason and I were in the room, and we talked about the olive oil, oregano, balsamic notes that it had, and this is very much like that. Big O, this is a very old St. Nick 17-year Lost Barrel, so it's supposedly Stitzelweller, and I would believe it. And there's kind of a salty note to this too. So really weird. I mean, yes, there are fruit elements, but the fruit is definitely just like dark purple, fruit syrup. Like, what is that note? Kind of like dates in syrup. It's something that Nancy Fraley uses on some cigar blends. That's where I go with this on the fruit side. Dates in syrup, asphalt, cast iron skillet, a little young oak note, weirdly, to kind of counterbalance everything. Young oak, which is kind of this abrasive thing. Saltiness, which is also this kind of abrasive thing in it. It's all over the place. So, anyways, let's get it on the palate. That's so good. It's not super balanced. Oh, wow. Big chocolate on the palate. Holy shit. Dark chocolate. First punch was very spicy, very woody. And then right afterwards, dark chocolate. It's not balanced. Big oak in the finish now. Just like you're out in the woods. Like soil and dirt out in the woods. Wet, wet woods. Very good. Play-Doh now as it gets even more into the finish. But, yeah, you just don't get to taste whiskey like this every day. But I will say, I used to be enamored by and let things pass on any dusty. Like if I tasted it and it had a dusty note, I didn't give a shit how it developed on the palate. I just said I like it because it tastes like a dusty. I have since gotten away from that because now that I've tasted, I don't know how many dusties I've tasted. 100 maybe, like it's not a crazy high number, but it is a decent number of dusties. I've gotten to the point where that note, I still love it. I still have a soft spot. I will still drink any dusty any day of the week. But now I'm kind of more tuned into the balance of dusties and being more concerned about them in the same way that I am modern whiskey. And so for this one, I think there's too much spice and not enough body of the whiskey. I'll stand by that. There's a nuttiness in here, too. Can't tell exactly what it is. It's not... I mean, you could convince me it's peanuts, but it's a little softer, more fatty, like a cashew fattiness. Toshi, well, here's the thing, man. In a similar vein, like this Ezra 15, which is Hoffman, very similar stuff. All of these older dusties have like savory herbal notes. And yeah, like oregano, olive oil, balsamic are kind of the general, like if I had to distill everything down from that era, all of those weird savory notes, I would just put it into those three notes. Oregano, balsamic, and olive oil. But not quite herbal in like the dill or like minty herbal way that we talk about now on Rise. It's a totally different thing. Wow, Paul Graham, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Super chat not working. I tried. That's okay, man. Paul, you've been so generous. You've been generous enough for a lifetime on the channel, man. But I bought a case of Stag 22A, which is such a good batch, for $6.75. Damn, what a price. Blanton's at $57 at Walmart. Bought 5 bottles. Great day. That is a great day, man. Congrats on that. Great score. Noah says, it tastes very much like the Jefferson's 18 that was also speculated to be Stitzel. I haven't had any of the old Jeffersons, but it makes sense. Yeah, Stitzel has a thing to it. There's one more note I wish I could pinpoint in here. It's a spice note. But I can't quite figure it out. I don't know. I could sit here and smell it all day, but I just want to drink the last sip of this. Toshi, thanks, man. Thanks for letting me try this, and it's a treat to be able to do it live for everybody. It's so olive oily. I'm going to be thinking about that all night now. Well, what a way to kick off the stream. Jesus. Everything else is screwed now. What is up, Jimmy? All right, so now, after that, we're going to get into some Angel's Envy cast strength. Guys, please hit that like button. Let's get some more people in here hanging out this evening. We're going to probably go, I mean, the latest I want to go tonight is 2 hours, like 11 p.m. Eastern. I'd like to wrap this thing up. No, my fault. Yeah, what are the odds that you call out a thing like that and the sample is literally right there? It's all downhill from here, says Sean. Yeah. I don't want to cleanse my palate. I just want to sit and, Kentucky chew this thing. But we have business to do. Tasting bourbon is business. What's happening? Jimmy Copeland, thank you for the super chat, man. $20 super chat on Venmo. I appreciate it. And man, thank you. All right. Tim Tam Slam. Yeah, guys, real quick, let's review kind of like so far on the channel this week. I did the George T. Stag Flight video. Again, I got another. I can't get away from these comments. You should have done it blind. I have no need to do this blind. I have no need to do those pours blind. At this point, you should just comment on every video and say you should have done it blind. Let's just get 100 of those comments on every video. I will... I don't know what I'll do. Scratch my face off, pull all my hair out. But yeah, that video came out this week. The Traveler review came out. And the Traveler review, eventually for me, it ended up being less about the Traveler and more about what I said at the end of the video about just like beginning whiskey drinkers. And you can take it or leave it, whether you agree with that or not. Today was the bourbon news stuff. Still coming up this week, I have a whiskey recommendation video for two different bourbons. I'm going to try to get A124 Elijah Craig out. And then I have Scotch Sunday, which is Springbank 12-year cast strength. I need to film the Elijah Craig and the Springbank. I have the recommendation video done. So keep an eye out for those. VZ Pew Pew says, watching your vids for a while, recently subscribed. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for subbing. Thanks for all the cool content. Much success to you. Keep it up. I appreciate it. See you, James. Thanks for jumping in here, man. All right, so now on to Angel's Envy 12-year. That'd be cool. Angel's Envy cask strength bourbon, port finished, 118.2. Was not a big fan of the other one of these I have a sample of up there somewhere. I think it's a 2018 maybe. It's immediately first note on this is bubblegum. Bubblegum, fireball cinnamon. Now I'm starting to get beneath this initial thing. There's green apple peel. It's a note I called last night on something on the Patreon live stream that we did. And then there's kind of that, if you guys have ever had MGP 21% rye bourbon, sometimes those will give you a mixture of this like orange citrus note and what I call burnt cherry, which is like just, it's a tight note. It makes the whiskey feel tight, and proofy. And you kind of have to, I don't know, give it time in the glass or add water or something to kind of open the whiskey up. So overall, like first impression, you can actually smell the corn grain in this too. First impression is this smells like a young whiskey. The finish to me, I know I'm coming off the St. Nick. The finish to me is not immediately apparent, the port finish. Jay, yep, you should do all things blind. Someone else said, so now you know Fireball. Damn it, Jay. No, so when I say Fireball cinnamon, I mean atomic Fireball. I mean like the candies, not the frick. No, I will never know Fireball. I will never know the difference between Jack Fire and Fireball. All right. Okay, the palate, different story on the Angel's Envy. It's all port. It's like sticky sweet raisins. And the bubblegum note is so strong on this. I am not a fan of that. It tastes so young. Cotton candy bubblegum, Angels in. Look, if that sounds good to you, if you want something that is, to me, this is sickly sweet in a bad way. Like, not only do you get cotton candy bubblegum, which you can get in regular bourbons, but then you can taste all that port, kind of like this tannic, syrupy viscosity. I'm not into that. Going back, it almost makes me a little bit nauseous right now because it almost smells like fake sugar, fake sweeteners. That ain't it for me. Travis, Cam, I know you're not looking at this tonight. How about a blind with 1924 Michter's 10, early times bottled. Travis, which one is the black cap? Is that the new or the old? Because when all that early time stuff happened with the changeover, I think the channel was dead at that point. I think I was like taking the time off from Drums and Drams. So I didn't get into that. Well, Travis, I also don't know that all those are actually the same mash bill. Like, Cooper's Craft 100 is apparently a blend of Old Forester and early times. And Michter's 10, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's something Brown Forman. I mean, we could probably say that, but we still don't really know, and we don't know what the mash bill is. So I could do that. I'd be happy to do that. So I do have all of those then. I have one old early times bottled and bond from a few years ago in my basement that is, I think I've had one pour of it. So I could do that. Yeah, and I would just preface in the video like, hey, these are all at least in some way related. Yeah, Travis, I did. You're right. I mean, yes, but it's still, still I could be confirmation bias. So we're going to be done now with the Angels cast strength bourbon. That's a big no-no for me. Jeb, if you're still here, what do you think of that one? I can start smelling it a little more on the nose now. But in the beginning, not immediately apparent. Yeah, that is just... Yeesh. Get out of here. So that was 118.2. Actually, the same proof of Heaven Hill 17. I only remember that because I just shot that video. So let's get into the Angels Envy cast strength rye now. So this is a little lower, 114.4. Got to leave enough for a review. Gerard Wright says, what's the rarest bourbon you have? I don't know. That's kind of a tough question. I mean, probably the old Ezra Dusty that I pulled out a second ago. Could be this. Could be, if you see behind me, this red Blanton's, the Singapore Blanton's. Only 2 barrels went to Singapore, I think, in 2021. So that's also pretty rare. Probably one of a few hundred bottles. So the Ezra, which is from the 70s, I believe, that Blanton's, a King of Kentucky. I don't have I have really, really nice bourbon that I've spent way too much money on. I don't have something that's crazy absurd, like a Society of Bourbon Connoisseurs bottle or an old green glass. I don't have anything like that. 2008 George T. Stagg might be, that might be coming sometime soon. I don't know. All right. So Lynn liked the Angel. Good to see you, Lynn. Liked the Angels Envy cast strength bourbon. Couldn't find the rye. I don't think. Well, I may have seen the rye at one point, and I just never thought to pull the trigger because it was Angels Envy. Let's keep scrolling. Cam's rarest bourbon is Basil Hayden, and then Travis has sent you something on Venmo. It's enough to get you a quarter tube of. How do you say that? Winall. Great brass polish. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate it, man. Just a tip, hopefully. Travis, by the way, that Jacob's Well, that bottle and canister, I'll have that out tomorrow to you. That's one of the things next up. Boxed in the basement. So Mike, local shop has the Angel's Envy for $250. I love the rye so much, I almost considered it, but no. Yeah, $250 is a lot. And guys, sorry to beat a dead horse, but please do hit that like button. I don't know where we are with it right now, but let's keep getting some more folks hanging out. Ron says, yeah, but isn't that going to taste that way coming off the dust you had? Yes, sure, but after the second sip, it would lock itself in for me. Yeah. I mean, it's in the realm of like that Chattanooga port finish, at least, memory. My memory says that. The comparison would probably be different. But I actually like the nose better now because the nose doesn't give me as much. I don't know. I think the balance is weird and the bubblegum thing is throwing me off. Oh, someone mentioned earlier about, I saw an Infinity Bottle comment, and then I remembered this, that Paul said, did you find a spot in the whiskey room for the decanter you won? No. There's going to be a video for that decanter. It's going to be sometime in the next 2 weeks that I make a video about it. And then once the video's done, I'll find a place for it. It needs to be displayed prominently. Maybe it could go on this shelf, which is kind of an empty shelf. It just has all these glasses on it. That shelf could be repurposed. And that decanter could be the centerpiece, because then if I'm here, you'll always be able to see that shelf. So that would be kind of cool. Okay. 70 likes. Yeah, please hit some more. Hit that like button. Let's get some more likes on here if you guys don't mind. Weenall, says Travis. That's what a fun word to say. I used it on my trombone for a decade. Started as a wheel polish, but ended up the whole TTU orchestra used it. That's funny, man. Draw says, HLQ Reddit is I haven't looked I don't get on Reddit at places. I'm not into the Reddit thing. I have enough of a hard time with my own YouTube comments, let alone Reddit. Middle Earth Collector. Hey, bro, love your content. What do you think of the Jack Daniel's Personal Select 94 proof? So that's probably what, just a barrel select, or like a barrel pick 94. I actually haven't had any of those, so I'm sure it's good. Lynn, I paid MSRP. I'm not bougie. Toshi, secondary pricing is dropping. Grab that OHETS. Well, maybe I did. Maybe it happened. Bourbon Bill, hey, I like the Angels Cask Strength Bourbon. Did a review on it a couple weeks back, but it's not worth the price. Yeah, the bourbon would definitely not be worth the price. Okay, I got to get to this damn rye now. So, the rye on the nose, I full transparency, I did taste this last night for my Patreon in our Patreon live stream. So, it's finished in Sauterne and toasted oak casks. And if you guys have ever had Sauterne before, you understand, like, when people say dessert wine, that means one thing, like, when you think the concept of dessert wine, there's a lot of different kinds of dessert wine and directions you can go. And I had always tried Sauterne finished things, both bourbons and particularly a number of scotches, right? And the one that most of us have probably had would be the Glenmorangie Nectar d'Or. But then when I actually tasted Sauterne, I was like, oh, I get it now. I understand this flavor profile. So to me, the Angel's Envy Rye, you do get a little bit of dill that comes up. Dill, citrus, mint. But that's kind of like punctuating. So there's like a layer of flavor, and all of those kind of herbal rye notes are just kind of punctuating through that layer, if that makes sense. But the primary thing that I get is like peach rings. Yeah, just sweet, like kind of sweet, like some sort of glaze, like, like a glazed donut. Like the glaze on a glazed donut. That's kind of what I get here. Peach rings. It's very sweet and inviting and desserty. Now, there is kind of a a young, sharp, abrasive oak note. Similar, I mean, even similar to the bourbon, but it's less off-putting here because there's so much else in it to love. Yeah, brown sugar. And then like those little caramel chew candies. So, anyways. That's so good. I would pay the price on that rye. I hate to say it because it's crazy for them to charge that price for that rye. But it's so good. Thirsty Oak, have you seen the new Woodford Batch Proof got mistakenly released in Illinois? I saw some of them pop up, yeah. You know, that's another one of those releases I'm not able to really keep up on. I don't know. They're all... I like them. Every time I go back to them, I like them. But I never reach for them. And so I just don't... It's expensive, and to review it, I don't know. Jeb, okay. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that, but I remember you mentioning that the other night when I looked it up, and it looked very... I can't remember the price, but I remember it being expensive. Dickel Daniel, we haven't got to the Barrel King yet. We'll get there. Jay, 100 likes and Camel Bottle Chug Malort. I don't have a bottle just so I can avoid it. Avoid temptation by not owning the bottle. Okay, let's see here. Wait, Toshi said, oh shit, it happened. Oh, yeah, well. Jimmy, I heard somebody talk about a 23B. I'm not sure if that's true, but... And I guess that person could have been talking about a 10-year bourbon, and I just had it wrong. Because I know that the bourbons had Bs. Oh, I'm going to do another sip of this. I just think that Angel's Envy Cask Rye. I mean, that's in the conversation for like a rye of the year, even though it is finished. If I would have done like a rye of 2023 and I would have had this bottle at that point or this sample, I mean, it would be in the conversation. I think it's so delicious. You gotta like finished stuff. If you don't like finished whiskey, you will not like that rye, I think. Even though a Sauterne finish is more subtle and in some ways it's not overt, it's not as in your face as like a port finish would be, or maybe even a sherry finish. So it might come off a little bit tamer, but on the palate, I mean, you really get big dessert notes. Oh, nice, Jeb. So what did I say? Peach rings? You said white peach. I like that. That's totally it. And I don't know, lychee, I don't know what that is. We've talked about it on the channel before, but it left my brain. So Lynn has a 23H, Michter's 10. Interesting. Middle Earth Collector. Going to be getting a bar set up downstairs. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Sarah just got home. I got to text her, make sure everything's cool. Getting the bar set up downstairs, setting it up Lord of the Rings themed in my backyard. Sarah's been watching Lord of the Rings the last couple days. And my backyard redone with the fire pit and have it Hobbit themed. That's cool. To have merry gatherings and drink whiskeys. That's cool. That's very cool. No, Lynn, you haven't missed much, man. We've done the Angels, and then we drank. The opener was very old Saint Nick 17-year Lost Barrel, and I could just smell the glass all day. Toshi, the Angel's Envy rye drinks like a Kentucky rye, not mint. See, I do get some dill, Toshi. I get a barbecue note now. But maybe it's because I just smelled the old Saint Nick before that. But no, I do get a little dill. I get a little mint, little dill, but I think it punctuates the finish as opposed to takes over the whiskey. But if it is it a Bardstown rye then? Because that profile to me tastes like a Bardstown rye. All right, let's keep it moving. Jeb, should I drink this whiskey blendery sample? And if so, what is it? What is Double Jeopardy? You said you had to tell me something about it, I think. Brian, do you have a favorite holiday? I like Christmas. No, I'm just kidding. I've actually never had any holiday stuff. That's a blind spot for me. Oh, so Toshi, you're not into the dill stuff. Well, you sent me that Willet 7-year rye. So did you like that? Because I remember that Willet 7-year that you sent I thought it had a lot of dill. Oh, Jeb says save it for yourself. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll pour it. One sec. No. Wow, I left the room and we had more people jump in. So what does that say? All right, I'm back, so you can leave now. All right, Jeb, so what the hell's going on here, man? Do you guys know what this is? Whiskey Blendery, Double Jeopardy. It says 116. I imagine that's the proof. Zach, I'm behind as well. Cam, got to get you the Michter's 10 bourbon sample and a few others. Yeah, Zach. Once you send that my way, I gotta look in. I'm having a hard time keeping track between Patreon messages, emails, Instagram DMs, texts, that kind of thing. I need to go scour everything one more time and see if anyone else had said they were gonna send samples, because I am gonna do a Michter's 10 blind, because people have complained enough that I haven't done that blind or the laser coat Elijah Craig stuff. Like the Elijah Craig stuff, that's dead and gone to me. I don't give a crap about that anymore. But the Michter's 10, I'm still curious about. So I will do a blind with whatever samples I have and whatever open bottles I have behind me. So Jeb says only Texas folk might know. Travis, any idea if you'll make Pours in the Park? Yeah, I'll be there. My summer season of performances ends 1 week early this year, which means I don't have a work conflict, and I think Sarah's planning on coming too. Jeb, this smells great. This doesn't smell like Texas whiskey. It just smells like really, really good oaky Kentucky bourbon. I like that a lot. You had me scared saying Texas. I'm getting like blueberry pancakes on this. It's spicy. There's like, it's very breakfasty to me. Blueberry pancakes, like cinnamon. It's got a lot of oak to it, Oh, didn't say it was Texas whiskey. Okay, yeah, because I'm going to say this doesn't taste like Texas whiskey. Joe, how much of my 23A batch do you have left for your blind? Let me check. It's right here. So probably about, I'd say that's like 2/3 of an ounce. So I actually have a pretty good amount. And Joe, that's so good. That one is so good. But the one that I cracked recently, I opened another, 23A, so I've got two open. I'm going to be curious to put that up against that one, because the one I opened is also very good. Oh, Jeb. There's a note in here that's trying to tell me where this is from. Oh, what is this note? It's so familiar to me right now. Do you know the source, Jeb? Lynn, I'm going to send you, in your box is going to be 23A sample. Don't worry. I have it written down. Rebecca Creek 16, 23A, some other stuff. The Ezra. You do know where it's from, Jeb. I am so pissed off. I am so pissed off right now, Jeb, because there's a note. There's this weird buttery thing on the nose. Usually when I smell buttery, I go Green River, but I don't think this is Green River. You know what? This is probably MGP. I think it's the MGP buttercream note. Okay, Jeb, I'm going to guess that that's 6-year MGP 21% rye bourbon. What is it? The cinnamon note is... This is pointing me down the 21% rye MGP mash bill. And that buttercream. But I think it's 6 years old. Could be 8. I could see it being 8. But I'll say 6. No, I'll say 7. We'll say 7. All right, spill it, Jeb. Scott, I can send you a sample of mine if you're talking M10 rye. I'm not ready yet, Scott. We're talking bourbon, but I'm not ready yet to dive in and see if I want to do a sample comparison or something to the Michter's 10 ryes. I don't know if we're going to go that deep into that, you know? Otherwise, I'll get accused of stirring the shit pot a little too much. All right. Oh, yeah, Dustin's drinking some Rebecca Creek 16. That is a epic bottle. Okay, so I'm going to pour this back, Jeb, while I wait on your reveal. And what are we going to do next? Here we go. So it's an... Oh, whoa. So it's an error blend of MGP 95.5 rye and I think the 21 rye White Dog. So they blended the White Dog, you're saying? They didn't blend 21 rye White Dog with already aged 95.5 rye. That would be insane. Yeah, it has the MGP thing, that buttercream. That's the giveaway note on this. But to me, that means that there's a lot of the bourbon in the blend. Because I've never gotten that on an MGP rye. But hey, I'll take that. I'll take the blind challenge portion of that. I think that went okay. Oh, they put the White Dog together. That's a cool mistake. So that's why they called it Double Jeopardy. That's cool. All right. Okay, so where are we going next? Let's get into Matt's blend. So, let me know in the chat if you guys... Whoa. Hang on. That was my backup. I almost cracked that open. Sheesh, I thought I put that in the basement after I unwrapped it. Okay, this is the real one. I was like, wait, this is sealed. Good Lord. Let me know if you guys have one of these and if you're sipping along. I think it was you would probably have had to been in the Junkies Patreon. So, stats on this, 118 proof. And I think it's like a blend of things finished in like Stag and Willet barrels, maybe. So, here we go. Let's check this out. And I've had a little bit of it, but I haven't sat down with it and reviewed it. I shared it with a couple of the percussion guys after one of our concerts. We had a little toast in the percussion room after the show. And a couple of them wanted to try this. The color on it is awesome. Tim Doherty says, just subscribe to Barrel King today. We'll definitely be grabbing one of those. Yeah, I can't justify the subscription to Barrel King, but I'm really, really liking their stuff. Okay, Jeb, I gotcha. So this is the thing Jeb just had me try. Definitely some similarities. Oh, wow. So the Barrel King... voice crack. Just hitting puberty, guys. The Barrel King has... what do I want to say? It's kind of crispy on the nose at first. Like, crispy and a little bit abrasive. To me, this feels like it needs a couple drops of water. And I might try that. But it feels just a little bit tight. Crispy is the best word to put it because it makes the notes feel brittle almost. It smells very good. So I get on this one similar to Pinhook 8-year. Like that MGP profile that kind of goes off into left field where it's spicy brown sugar and maple syrup. There's also a little bit of a... I'm not going to call it bubblegum on this because it's not like this Angel's Envy from earlier. No. I don't know. I have an aversion to that one. But there's a fruit note in here, and I'm not sure what I would call it. Like, what would you call darker bubblegum? I don't know. So, yeah, it's an interesting combination of those maple brown sugar but spicy versions of those notes. And there's fruit in here, but it's masked by the spice right now. Oh, Lynn, that's going on the screen. That's what you call darker bubblegum. Oh, the palate is fucking awesome. The nose had me a little worried. Because I think it does feel tight. And I think that's probably coming from the finishing barrels a little bit. The palate is great. Goes very sweet finish. I like the finish before it turns super sweet. I like the balance it has. Mid palate into the beginning of the finish. This, well, hell, I'll just say the whole palate up until the very end of the finish, I love about this. The very end of the finish, it's kind of a little sugary. I like if that can be tamed down a bit. It's great. It's good stuff. And I have to do one more sip and then I'll put some water in it. So Sugar Kitty, this is great info. Bubblegum is a combo of banana and strawberry. Darker might be banana kiwi or banana peach apricot. Nice. Flavor analysis. That's awesome. Bradley B says I guess we're talking Barrel King probably. Last month's rye is one of the most addictive whiskeys I've had. I've never had a Barrel King rye. So Rugby Sevens, where do you see prices going in 2024? Man, I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm not a bourbon economist, unfortunately. Stabilizing, increasing. I see retail prices going up. I don't think it's because of the cost of ingredients. I think it's due to greed and profits. I don't know. I'm not sure what supply chain things are like right now. I mean, if you're looking in the long term, prices are all going to fall, in my opinion, because the market is becoming so saturated, and it's only going to get more saturated in the next 5 years. And then at that point, we're going to start seeing a glut of whiskey that is, at that point, probably 10 years old. And, and we're going to probably start having more choices unless distilleries start to, what would you call that? Like false scarcity, you know what I mean? Or perceived scarcity on some of their stuff, or not release as much as they have. I think it's going to be really interesting, but you're already seeing some people dropping their prices because they have to. And the next person that needs to fall and do that shit is Blue Run, because the value of Blue Run is nonsense. $200, $250 8-year whiskey. there are two words that I want to say. The first one is get, and the second one starts with the letter F. I mean, come on. It's absurd. And it's not even their own whiskey. So, sorry. I'll never be a Blue Run fan. The whole thing, and that's not what this is about, but prices are going to have to drop, I think. And I think what we're seeing is, from a business perspective, for me, being somebody that only has a real cursory knowledge of what I'm talking about right now, would be that you're seeing distilleries start to super premiumize certain lines, whether they're new lines like Buffalo Trace with the Prohibition collection. Obviously, the Eagle Rare 25, but that's not for us. That's for auctions and for the kings of certain countries. But when you start seeing like the Heaven Hill Heritage collection, and we all go, damn it, put that whiskey in Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I think the reason is I think it's smart to stratify the portfolio this way. Yeah, I don't know how to explain this better, what I'm actually getting at here, but I think once prices come down, then you're of certain things from certain people, you're going to be left with more clear choices at different price points. And I think seeing the super premium versus the premium versus the somewhat rare, you know what I mean? The something somewhat hard to find versus the shelfer, it's going to be a more clear structure as opposed to seeing a $200 8-year from someone you've never heard of competing against Heaven Hill 17. That's what I think is happening. I think distilleries are smart to do it too because they're setting their ladder right now of releases. But I'm not good at explaining what I'm trying to get to. Ha! Sorry, I just saw the check. Get frugal. Whiskey Problems, you're saying you're with Jason C. from Mash and Drum on your view of Blue Run. Yeah, I don't know if Jason has changed his view or not, but what his view has been that I know, yes, I would say I absolutely align with that. Yeah, Adam, that's part of the reason I'm saying this too, is I did see what the junkies said about it in their Patreon. Yeah, guys, please hit that like button, says the Middle Earth Collector, and that would definitely help. Middle Earth Collector also said had to pour some Baker 7. Baker 7, highly underrated, especially when you get one of those older ones in the 8.5+ year range. SRP up, secondary down, says Joe. That's also, I think, happening too. Yeah. I mean, we're already seeing this stuff happen now. It's just that over the next 5 years, hell, even the whiskey market moves fast. The adjustments, like you think about from where we are now to 3 to 5 years ago, the crazy shifts we've seen. You don't need a lot of time for this market to flux, I think. Okay. But anyways, I'm talking out of my ass right now, and I need to stop. All right. We'll hide the comment. Cool. So back to this. And now that I go back to the nose on the Barrel King, something that plays into kind of it being a little tight on the nose and those spicy maple brown sugar notes is like earthiness. So there is a distinct kind of earth note to this. I didn't get it at first, though. The palate is... You can tell this was put into a finishing barrel, not a new one, but you can tell that it's spent time in an extra barrel or two. All right. Rugby Sevens, thanks for taking my question. Oh, heck, it's not. I feel like it's not taking your question. We're just hanging out, But yeah, thanks for asking a good question. You said the bourbon boom is causing the profit margins to grow. Yeah, but this boom, I mean, you're already seeing people leave for tequila and leave for rum and some other spirits. The fact of the matter is that it's just not financially sustainable for so many people to actually be in this hobby anymore, because now the stuff that they actually want to chase, they're most of them have to pay secondary for. me included. And so you have to make a conscious decision of whether you're going to continue chasing that stuff, or if you're gonna say, no, I'm only looking at what I find on the shelf. And I know people that have done that, and more power to them for like being able to control the FOMO and go down that road. But I also know people in town here, people in the orchestra I play in actually, who were standing in line. They had just gotten into whiskey, bourbon in the last 6 months. They were so excited. I just want to get a Blanton's, and I totally remember those days. And they would just never get anything because they weren't waiting 8 hours in line. And the person I'm talking about basically was just like, no, I'm done. That's it. And it's a sad thing that it's just kind of a sad thing, I think. Yeah, Toshi. I agree, man. Joe, Hard Truth released a bourbon, a weeded bottled and bond bourbon, and a 4-grain bottled and bond bourbon here in Indy today. Pretty curious. There's a big difference between young rye and yeah, there is. But Joe, I mean, their track record's very good so far. I still can't believe the chocolate and the caramel malted rye samples that you sent. I still have those. I loved them. The signet of rye. Ron, that's an interesting idea too. Whiskey industry might go to library releases like the wine industry. I never thought about that. Oh, Jeb, you sent me a Barrel King rye sample. Okay. Hell yeah, man. Let's do this. Couple fresh glasses. We got 3. So this is the Matt's bottle. So Gamma Bourbon number. So Jeb, when you say number 71, is that the batch number? Gamma Bourbon 71, or is that the bottle of the batch? And then Knighted Rye, number 75. Sounds like it's the batch. So, guys, we'll taste a couple more Barrel Kings here before we keep it moving. Batch 71, okay. So Matt's... Matt's is batch 77, then. Adam, so you telling me you'll be able to get whiskey at the library? Okay. Oh, wow. So that's the rye, huh? Interesting. Toshi says, Gamma Batch 71 is what I'm drinking right now. Enjoyable, fresh crack. Wow, it's so different than this one. This other Barrel King, Matt Porter's blend. The Gamma is so fruity. So fresh fruity. So this is like fresh fruity profile, and this one is that dark, rich, spicy maple profile. They couldn't be more different. The Gamma tastes younger than it smells. The nose is awesome. The palate is good. It comes off a little bit younger. Now, I had put some water in Matt's. I think it helped. I think it needs a couple drops of water because of all the oaking. And now, what I'm most curious about maybe is this Knighted Rye, batch 75. This Knighted Rye has that cheese note that I get on Frey Ranch Rye. This is weird. There's a... Is that lavender? So there is... You smell the rye note. Is it dill in here? There's a lavender note, I think. It has an iron metallic note on it. Do you guys get that? No, Toshi, it doesn't taste overly young, but it comes off younger on the palate than it does in nose. But the rye, there's like an iron note on it, and it even feels like if you lick something like that, like if you drink well water, it has a little bit of a well water note. That is a funky rye. Very funky. I can't say that I love it. I like its uniqueness. Andrew, what is this finished in? I don't know. The Knighted Rye just says finished ex-bourbon. So usually that's Stag or Willet for them, from what I can understand, but I'm not sure. Like licking a nickel. Yeah, that's a good comparison. The rye's finished in Willet and then Stag. All right. Yeah, it has some strange notes. It's not something I'd be reaching for, but it's a fun pour. All right. I think I like the Gamma bourbon better than the rye. Yeah. If I put aside the notes of the rye and I just think about how it drinks really, really well. The balance is fantastic. Sugar Kitty Lavender, natural compound, natural component, excuse me, is eucalyptus and camphor. Is that how you say that? Camphor? Camphor? How do you say that? People sometimes say menthol. Yeah, the lavender thing is very background for me on this, but I've only gotten that on a handful of whiskeys. Wow, so I like the palate of Matt's blend better. I like the nose of the Gamma better, and I think the rye is just super unique. But one thing's for sure, across this line of Barrel Kings is that there's enough variety between them to keep things really interesting batch to batch, clearly. The balance is overall very good between all three of them. From like, I mean, I guess I'm talking mostly on the palate. The drinkability and the balance is very consistent, very good. Some better than others, but overall it's a good trend. And I think the one issue that you run into, like on Matt's blend, would be on the nose, that it gets a little too tight from the extra oak. And in that case, throw a drop of water in it. I like it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I have had Barrel Kings that have kind of blown me away. None of these make me go like, holy shit, that kind of reaction, but I'm sure some of them do. And it would be great to see, like, I'm sure they're probably working with between 6 and 8 year stuff. If they had some barrels at some point that were 10 or 12, I can't imagine what they could do with some older MGP whiskey. I bet it would be crazy. So I think with what they have, in terms of the whiskey they're sourcing, they're probably doing some of the best shit out there with finishing in these ex-bourbon casks. Andrew, when is your Barrel King pick? Well, I don't know. So I am going to... So for those of you who have seen me talk about Barrel King before, like last year or like 9 months ago, whenever it was, for a while there, I was concerned that there was something weird going on, and that was my own... That was just my own speculation, and I shouldn't have said it publicly. And so I have, like, publicly apologized, I think, like twice on streams to Barrel King for saying that stuff, or even just alluding to it, I should say. and being questioning, but I had never tasted something like what they were putting out, and I had never tasted things finished in these ex-bourbon casks like they do it. And so I am going to send them an apology. Even if they've never seen me talk about it, I'm going to send Jared an apology. If it never got back to him, then it's just me admitting guilt, but the truth is better. So I'm going to send him a note and just let him know, hey, here's what I thought. Here's why I thought it. I'm wrong, and I'm very sorry that I said that, and, you know, so there we go. Yeah, the toasted vanilla stuff, Jeb, I mean, but they don't put straight on a lot of those labels, and I'm cool with that. Because I think they're conditioning, that's what I was thinking about. Is like, I think they were conditioning some casks with some other things, maybe. I don't know how they do it, but it looks similar to the Good Times way that Good Times was doing it, and there was some relationship there in prior years, I think, between some of the guys. But if you look at the Barrel King labels, the word straight is not on some of those bottles. That's cool. So yeah, I do owe them an apology, though. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff for the Barrel Kings. And it's pretty awesome that 200 bottles at $200 a piece sold out in 4 minutes. And Matt, you know, there's $40,000 for Matt. I mean, come on. That's crazy. Okay. Keep it going. What else? We do still need to do the 13th colony. Before I do, let's do a blind pour. I think this is actually clean. Yeah. I need your help in the chat. The first person to give me a number 1 through 5, that's the sample that I'm going to pull from Amy's stash. 1 through 5. The first number I see in my chat is which one we're going to do blind. I got to grab the note cards. 4 it is. Sparty on bourbon. Okay, so here's what she sent. Amy sent mystery 1. This is the side with that. This is the side with the answers, but she put the dummy card here, which is awesome. So we need number 4. Mystery 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull 4 here. We're going to put 5 back into the pile, still with the dummy card where it was. So here you go, dummy card. And these will be saved for another day or another video. Some of these are going to go on videos. All right, so let's find sample 4. Mystery number 4. I love this, guys. My special request now, if anybody sends me samples, send me a mystery sample. Put the answer or a picture of the bottle or whatever in an envelope like Jeb did here with his fancy ass envelope. And I will do it on a stream randomly. I'll do it on a video. I'm going to start a video series of individual blind pours. So yeah, here we go. 55, says Jason. Great. So now, quick reminder, no spoilers in chat, please. Hit that like button also, please. No spoilers in chat. Whatever I show you on this card as I turn my head, don't mention it in the chat. Don't mention the opposite of it. Don't mention something related to it. Just say nothing and continue on. Here we go. This is what's in sample number 4 that I'm about to do. You should be able to see this now. Hopefully I'm not covering anything up. This feels like the top corner. Try to get my fingers out of the way. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let me know if you need to see that again. Let's check this out. Tight, woody. High, decently high proof. 120 plus. Feels like it's got some good age to it. 8 to 10. Could be an Elijah Craig barrel proof, though. Could be. No, I don't think so. Much sweeter on the palate than I thought it was going to be. Showing good age. Big leather on the finish. So it could be something like I don't know. Oh, this actually is starting to smell insane. I think that first sip I needed to get into it. Oh shit, this smells like a Heaven Hill 17. Wow, that is unbelievably good. I first nosing did not think that was gonna be that way. Jeb, I'm a fancy boy. I said that last night. How have your Scotch Sunday videos been doing? Also, I'm trying to do this fairly quickly, guys. I want to get used to it because on the videos, I'm going to set a timer for these so that the videos don't go forever on one pour. How have your Scotch Sundays been doing in the algorithms? Not great. The Lagavulin did, the 1985 Lagavulin did well because I think the thumbnail said the best Scotch I've ever tasted. So it did double what any of the others have done. So it's at like 17 or 1800 now. God, that whiskey is really good. I'm curious about what it is. I think it's going to take time to grow it. It's going to take time and me doing accessible bottles and available bottles at first, or epic bottles, like one of the two. And I'm going to swing back and forth and start adding a little more Scotch content to the channel overall. But I think it's worth the investment of having some low performing videos to get into the Scotch algorithm or whatever. Zach Jones, did you have 15 whiskeys before this? Why do you ask, Zach Jones? Maybe. I don't know how many I had. Probably 10. 10 sounds about like... I don't think I cleared any glasses, though. So maybe it's just how many glasses I have. So 8 before this? I think this is a Heaven Hill product. I got to start guessing stats now because I think that there's a really small chance this is something Jim Beam. It's a really small chance this is something Jim Beam for me. God. I love checking the less than 3 drinks a week box at the doctor. Anthony Peters, what do you think Michter's special releases will be like in 2024? I don't know. I mean, the trajectory of the 10-year bourbon and 10-year rye is off. It's off the charts good. I'm just so... Because I've always felt that those are underrated. I've always talked about how much I love Michter's 10 rye. I've sent it to all these people in blinds, and everyone just, poo-poos it, and on secondary, it's never gained in price. Not that that's a measure of something's value, but I've always wanted it to get the hype that it deserves. And so when I saw the Breaking Bourbon article, that's why I got so excited. Like, yes. Now, maybe it is as good as the Michter's 10 Bourbon 2023 A barrels are, but in rye form. And maybe it really is like a huge step up from what it's been, in which case I'm going to be in heaven because I thought the other stuff was great. So I think they're going to be good. I mean, in terms of the other stuff, like the toasteds and the barrel strengths, I don't know because I'm not sure what the sourcing is like or the contract distilling. I think the toasted barrels have gone down a bad path, and I don't like them. I think they're astringent and they're too dark and rubbery in coffee. And the barrel strength rye, without the toasted barrel finish, is the same thing. It's gone down this weird rubbery thing, and I don't know if it's just the barrels they're using are weird. But the 10-year stuff I'm optimistic about. Oh, Zach Jones. I forgot about that. That's how you showed up to the Tournament of Champions. Yeah, I had so normally before any Matt Madness round, I would have 10 whiskeys in front of me. And for the 30, I would say 30 minutes before, I'm just nosing all of them. And I'm tasting a few here and there. And I just got like the 10 whiskeys, the profile, all different profiles and proof points. And then when I'm about to jump on the stream, I'll move them out of the way, and I'm not using them during the stream. as like points of reference, but he agrees was so close. No Toshi, so I never got the 2023 Michter's Toasted. That was one I actually was debating pulling the trigger because people were saying good things, but people said good things about the 2021, and I had that, and I thought it tasted like a rubbery mess. Rugby Sevens, I actually have a bottle of Abuna in my basement. It's an older batch. I was looking at one on the shelf the other day, and I was like, am I going to buy this? And then I looked at the Port Charlotte 10, and then I went and bought a Glengoyne 21. But yeah, Jeb, exactly. I have a backup now of the 2017 Toasted. Okay, I actually need to get back to this pour. I think proof is 118. I'm going to go gut on this. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof 118 proof. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof at 118 proof. I think it's a 12-year product. I think it's Heaven Hill. I think it's a bourbon. I don't think there's a finish. God bless America. Come on. And I was like between... I said 118, it's 120. I said 12-year, it's 14, 9 months. It didn't have the nuttiness that I was expecting if it was Jim Beam, and that's because it's 14 years, 9 months. And that nuttiness kind of ages out of it a little bit. God. Knob Creek 120 pick. Damn. So my first impression was actually not correct today. And usually I second guess myself, and I should have actually done that more today. Proof. I'll take the proof guess. Age. I should have known. I said so leathery on the finish. It tastes like Heaven Hill 17 on the finish. It's because it's old. All right, Amy. 0 for 1. Although, I mean, how do you assign points? You know, it's not all or nothing, right? Len, it's a big conspiracy theory against all the bottles you're buying, dude. The Michter's Barrel Strength Rye. I don't know. I haven't had the new one, but the 2017 is just a completely different thing. And I don't know what was different back then, if it was the source of the whiskey or the kind of barrels or whatever, but... So, Bourbon Bill, I don't even like Sagamore Double Oaked because I think that is a rubbery, like, bitter... What else do I say? Coffee, rubber, bitter mess. Like, so if the 23 Toasted Rye didn't beat that, you know, then I'm probably not going to like it. Sean, I want to be buried in a Glenfarclas barrel. Give me, if I could be buried in like a 40-year Glenfarclas barrel, you know? I've tasted the 25. It's good. I really want to taste something from Glenfarclas that's like 30 to 40 years old because the aging on Glenfarclas is very gentle. That's like the best way I could put it. It's kind of uneventful, even up to 25 years. It's really good whiskey, but it's not what I think a 25-year whiskey or what I expect a 25-year whiskey to taste like. So I feel like it just needs more time in the cask. So you get it to 40 years. Bury me in one of those. Middle Earth Collector, the Dewar's 21-year double-double. I had the 27. I think that was the Palo Cortado finish. And it was delicious. Now, there's a 37 out right now that's just very expensive. I can't afford to get it. But I really like the 27. Whatever the Palo Cortado finish was, great. And I'm a sucker for, like... Because isn't Aberfeldy used in Dewar's blends? I'm a sucker for Aberfeldy 21, even at 40%, which sucks. I love Aberfeldy. Brian, man, if I could ever try Bowmore 25, I would love to. But I don't think I've even ever seen a bottle of that in person. Yeah, Aberfeldy. Okay, that's right. Major component of Dewar's. I love Aberfeldy. I love, love, love it. This Knob Creek pick is very good. All right. Where to next? Oh, 13th Colony. Oh, damn. Lito says 27's in last place for him. Lito, are you the one that sent me the 27? I think you probably are. And I know I killed that sample actually somewhat recently, so I held on to that thing for a long time because I loved it. Oh my God, Brian had Bowmore 25 in Scotland for 15 a shot. Wow. Yeah, okay, Lito. I was thinking that was you. Now, let's get to probably the final pour. Unless there are any other requests. I have a 10 a.m. rehearsal in the morning, so I can't go crazy. And again, after this, guys, if you haven't caught the videos this week, especially the one I put out just before this stream, once we wrap up here, go check it out if you have time, if you're interested. Oh, I missed a super chat from Guy. Thank you, Guy. Just showing some support. Did you see batch 2 of Jack 12 was already hitting? Yes, Guy, I did see that. And when did you send this? I'm sorry to not catch this. I had my notifications off. Yeah, so I want to get my hands on a Jack 12 batch 2. I love Jack 12. It did okay in my end of the year thing, but that was such a rushed process. Although I stand by it. I think the Old Forester Bottled and Bond 9 years better than Jack 12. I just do. I think it's a more well-rounded pour. Josh Fritz, what are you playing in your next concert? So we have a show Saturday, Sunday. We're playing Firebird. If you guys know Firebird Suite by Stravinsky. We're playing, and then 2 new pieces I've never played. Not new, but new to me. The Henry Tomasi Saxophone Concerto. It's from like maybe the 30s or the 40s. And then we're playing the Negro Folk Symphony is what it's called by Dawson. And that's a cool piece. So yeah, those two, the Tomasi and the Dawson, I've never played before. And then Firebird, that's kind of standard stuff. And then I'm playing like snare drum, xylophone, cymbals, triangle, a big bell. I posted a picture of it on Facebook and Instagram. Middle Earth Collector. I'm a percussionist. Paul Graham, thank you for the $20 super chat, man. I guess you got it to work. I appreciate it, Paul. Yeah, Jay Martinez, I'm not a fan of the Angel's Cask bourbon, but the rye I love. Okay. Where's it at? 13th Colony. Whiskey Row pick, 6-year, 130.9. From Jeb. Thank you, Jeb. Rugby Sevens, how far north is 13th Colony distributed? I have no idea. I don't think it's very far. Zach Jones. We had to play those songs on the recorder in 4th grade. Good pieces. Yes. We've been having a lot of fun this week. We have a great percussion section this week. Because things rotate in and out. I'm the only full-timer in the section, which is a very recent thing. And then, every week, different people come into play as extras or subs or whatever whatever you want to call it. And so, this week, we've had great sections all season. We had a lot of fun 2 weeks ago, but this week we got some fun guys in, and, it's just a good time. We're all messing around in rehearsal, and, you bring out 20 pair of cymbals, and you're trying them all out, and, just nerd stuff. Justin Franks, do the Mictors, please. Which Mictors are you thinking? Because I don't have... This is a 2019 rye. This is not 2023, unfortunately. Paul, why'd you stop Whiskey Ware? Well, Paul, things got kind of busy. It was tough to keep up with it. They weren't doing well, so it was like a perfect storm of me just stopping them. I'm not opposed to bringing it back at some point, but I would have to kind of workshop the whole idea of those again. Jeb, do these guys know how to party or what? Adam, yeah, I marched DCI. I marched on the quad line of the Blue Devils in 2014. And I marched the Bluecoats before that. I got injured, had to go home. That was 13. And then, yeah, 14, I was on the quad line for the Devils. Yeah. Jeb, I don't understand this whiskey, man. So this is, again, 13th Colony, 6 years old. 130.9. The color is reasonable. It's not the crazy dark shit. Single barrel pick by Whiskey Row. Justin Franks, is that the limited or barrel strength? In front of me here is just this is the 10-year rye at 92.8. Yeah, 92.8 proof for those. And it's from 2019. And then I do have behind me here this shelf right there. That's my Michter shelf. I have a 2016 barrel strength rye and a 2017 toasted barrel strength rye. But nothing current. Yeah, Adam, once upon a time, man. 10 years ago now, Blue Devils. Yeah, Rugby Sevens, definitely seen Whiplash. It's like a sports movie, but insert drummer instead of football. So this 13th Colony, I don't understand this 6-year bourbon pick. I don't understand how you get this. I don't understand how you get this amount of flavor packed in on the nose. It doesn't make any sense. It smells like cherries. Here. So this is Traverse City, cherry finished. I'll be damned. I mean, it has more cherry than the Traverse City thing that's finished with actual cherries. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand. Let me say this. It smells incredible. One of my favorite things I've smelled recently. And it's a 6-year bourbon at 130 proof. I do not understand this. I mean, look, the other notes in here. Lots of vanilla. Super sweet oak. Little floral perfume kind of thing. White pepper and it kind of combines in with the vanilla. It is so delicious smelling. I don't get this. How can they do this? How is everything they put out like a banger? I don't understand. It smells like Buffalo Trace and Green River. I mean, if I had to characterize this as something that's like that you can reference without smelling this right now, just as, you know, you're in the chat, you're watching this right now, something for you to wrap your head around what this would smell like. It smells like Green River and Buffalo Trace and cherry brandy. That's what it smells like. Adam Hyman says Bruzel's 13th Colony pick tastes of Jim Beam like. Very nutty. This is nutty, not close to that. No relationship to that profile. So that's interesting. I just don't understand this, guys. I'm going to taste it now. I don't understand. It's so good. Let's do this. This is George T. Stagg 2020, which is a clean candied red fruit profile down the middle at 130.4 proof. And this is at 130.9. I don't know. I just don't get it. So on the nose, George T. Stagg, it smells so close, but it has a little bit more tobacco on it, and that's what's showing me the age. And it's a teeny bit mustier. I might prefer the nose on the 13th Colony. I'm not kidding. I don't understand. All right, I'm going to drink the Stag. All right. Okay. There are levels to this. Okay. I don't know, man. The 13th Colony is less complex. It's much more one-dimensional. The fact that this 6-year 13th Colony is in this conversation and not being spanked by George T. Stagg 2020, it does not make sense to me. I just don't get this, man. And so speculating right now doesn't do anybody any good. I'm trying to learn this about the channel. Is that as the channel grows with all the laser code shit and me uttering the words micro batches, or the word if depends on if we put a space in there. Just uttering that phrase and the fucking calamity that occurred afterwards. You know, I have to be careful now with what I say, it feels like. And I am definitely more free in Patreon. But it's all out. I mean, you know, it's all out there. It's the internet. So there's no sense in me speculating on what is like how this could be. It could just be an incredible barrel. Because nothing about that tastes messed with. And the color doesn't show it, you know? The only thing would be like I'm getting like a cherry brandy note. I don't know. I mean, I'm at a loss right now. I don't know. So I know this is like probably really boring to watch at this point. I'm just sitting here trying to rack my brain about this. Yeah, and so you guys, Jeb sent this. So Jeb has this. And he's saying that he doesn't get it either. The complexity is not there, but the flavors are ridiculous. I don't get this. Yeah. Mojo, there's no way it's Dickel. I am like so positive it's not Dickel. I don't believe so. That's a rumor I started. No, but I know some people think that it actually is Dickel. I don't think that's the case. I know you are, I know. But some people legitimately think it is Dickel. Oh, Jeb, I would take this over Stagg Jr. any day of the week. I would reach for this. Stagg Jr., I have those bottles. I don't reach for them. The only one I ever reached for was batch 12. The other ones I can judge and say they're good or bad, but I never find myself actually wanting to drink the damn things because I think they're almost always too bitter on the back end. Yeah, and I know they add maple spirals to some of the double oaked, and now like I didn't know they added French oak spirals to some of their ryes. That makes sense, but that was not clear. That was not made clear to anyone. So I don't like that they didn't. They said that there was some thing on the top of the bottle. Someone was saying that on some of their ryes, they have like a French oak thing on the top of the bottle or something. I mean, I don't see it on the Junkies, and look at the fucking color of the Junkies rye. I mean, come on. Like, when you tell me that the double oak has a maple spiral added, and that it's double oaked, and I look at the color, makes sense, you know? Like, there's a lot of dark whiskey out there. It could go one way or the other, but I could believe that it's that dark. And then I look at the rye where it's like there's nothing added to it. There's no like spirals or anything. And I'm like, that seems crazy because it's the same color as the double oak. And same with the bourbon picks. I just wonder if they're spiraling certain things and they're not really saying it because straight's not on the label. And maybe they just need to say, like, I'm not sure. I have no idea. But clearly, look, the 6-year, the color of this is not super dark. And it doesn't taste like there's any added oak to it. That's why I'm confused. So I want to like publicly just state I'm not accusing 13th Colony of like what's the word people use, adulterating their whiskey. I'm not accusing them of that. I think it's a really interesting thing, and that's why people think that folks are saying that we've all latched onto this now just to stir shit and start conspiracy theories. What a lazy thing to say. No, it's because it's like anything else. When there's a stereotype or a trend or something kind of evolving, a lot of times that happens because a lot of people look at something and go, oh, that's kind of weird. And then you dig into it. And yeah, it might be nothing, legitimately. And I'm not accusing anybody of it being anything. But it does beg the question of why there wasn't more transparency. Like, I mean, I love their stuff. But there's no problem with asking the question. There's no problem with asking the question. And I just think it's a lazy thing to say that we shouldn't be asking questions. I think that's so silly. Because if you just take this at face value and you look at the color of this whiskey and you go, well, okay, I've seen dark whiskey. But this dark? That's interesting. That alone is enough to go, I wonder why that is. And there's no harm, no foul. So, yeah, no whiskey problems. I saw Jason. I think I saw him talk about some of it. I don't know if he's the one that talked about the French oak thing and some of the ryes, or who said that, if it was him or the Junkies. Paul, no, and you're right, man. Like, the Michter's lack of transparency. Here, can I lay this out for me personally, not for anybody else talking about this issue? Michter's is not transparent about where they get their whiskey, and I don't care because I love it. It says straight on the label, and nothing about the whiskey makes me question what could be going on with the whiskey. And I know that I will probably never know where that whiskey comes from unless it gets leaked from an insider, and I'm cool with that. I, to some degree, don't like the fact that I've noticed a really interesting flavor drift from 2017, some of the earliest examples of Michter's I've had until now. I don't like that I've noticed a flavor drift, and it's slightly unpredictable, and that could probably be cleared up by knowing where the whiskey comes from, what the toast level of the barrels are, what the mash bill is, what the entry proof is. Those could clear that up. So in some way, I guess I do have a slight issue with Michter's. Now I'm just realizing this. I guess in that regard, I do have a slight issue with Michter's transparency, lack thereof. With this, I don't care if they source their whiskey. Doesn't matter to me. When people made that the issue, what a dumb thing to make it the issue about. I mean, I get it. You want to know, but we don't know about Michter's. People are more concerned about the color and the flavor profile. At least that's what I think. That's what I would be mostly concerned about. That's my question of their stuff. I am fully willing to believe that it is not colored or has additives. I'm totally willing to believe that. I am raising an eyebrow about the staving and the lack of straight on the label. It seems like an all too convenient thing that they are experienced with staves of non-oak that are not oak, and that straight's not on the label. So that's when my eyebrow goes up. But again, innocent until proven guilty. But they do need to kind of clear the air publicly. And I know people have said, well, they don't want to do it because they're being attacked. No. You have to clear the air if you can clear it. So, and who said something about the French Oak Spiral? Lynn, I would like to know when that was added to the website or if it's always been there. And if it's the case with picks or the batched product only. Andrew, I said this too. Before I saw any articles, when I first tasted the double oaked, I was like, that's interesting. It doesn't say distilled by on the label. And they say it's their stuff. Or people are saying it's their stuff. But I didn't think past that. But I really don't care about that. Again, don't get me wrong. 13th Colony is delicious. It was my favorite whiskey of last year. That single barrel pick from the Junkies. I have no reason to put that on the top of my list. If I think something's going, if I have, real issues with it. I love their shit. I want to drink it all day long. I wish I could have an endless supply of this 6-year barrel pick because I don't understand how it tastes so good, and I want to drink that every day. Does it matter? It does matter. It does matter. I do believe it matters. Yeah. Justin, the 13th I'm tasting is 6 years old. This bourbon sample, this pick. This rye that I'm not tasting, but it's here, is a 9-year 143. Be curious, not judgmental. I agree, Ron. I agree. It's really easy for us online as whiskey tubers and just people in the chat and everything else on Facebook. It's really easy for us to just start spewing from the mouth, and I know I can be guilty of that too. I can start speculating too much, and so I am doing my best to rein that in and be ultra careful with the words that I use. And I know that that's a continuous process of getting better at doing that. I don't think it's worth not saying anything over. Like, I think by avoiding the topic because you don't want to wade into territory just means that you're not confident in the way that you're going to say things. And that's on you to be better at saying things, But the fact is, the whiskey's so damn good. No, Lynn, it does matter because it would have been them hiding something. And it already doesn't look good that the emails that were sent out, it already doesn't look good, all the lawyers speak. It just doesn't look good. They have to accept that, and they could remedy that. But it seems like they don't want to remedy that, and they want to say, well, it's because we're being attacked. If you can clear the air, clear the fucking air. Like, that's my attitude with it, because then everybody can shut up about it. But I mean, I would say that to their faces. You should clear the air about it as long as you can. As long as you have the ability to, you should clear the air about it. Also, I love your whiskey. Like, those things do not have to conflict, But yeah, I don't know. They had sent me an email on a previous video where I talked about their stuff, and I think I probably speculated kind of hard in that video, on that live stream, whatever it was, and they were like, we don't add color, we don't add it was the boilerplate email they sent to everybody. So maybe, maybe they hate me now, or they would not be fans of the channel. That's fine. It's fine. I still love their products. Len, I don't think that's true, man. I just don't think that's true. They have told everyone who has come there everything. I don't think so. It doesn't seem that way. Travis, I don't think that's true. I don't think it's about the free press. I don't care about source. The only thing I care about is if there's a spiral going into whiskey and you're not talking about it, just say that that's the case. And that's why there's not straight on the label. Like if a maple spiral, let's say for the sake of argument, a maple spiral went into the pick that I have from the Junkies and there's not straight on the label. I don't care. Just tell me there's a maple spiral in it. I'm going to buy it because I love it. You know, maple is not added chemicals or flavoring. Now, if in the event that there was something like that, like flavoring or coloring, then there's a real reason to be upset. But the other stuff, just tell us, you know, if something like that is happening. That's why I'm curious about when the verbiage for the French oak, if, for instance, 6 months ago that wasn't on the website, why wouldn't that have been? I don't know. I wonder if the Wayback Machine, if you can check that out online. Maplewood is allowed, but you can't call it straight anymore because it's not oak. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but you would have to call it straight bourbon whiskey finished with the maple spiral. So the labeling on the double oaked is fine on the bottle because it's not called straight whiskey and it doesn't distinguish because it's not called straight. I think it's okay, right? I don't know. Or if you call it bourbon, can you still not put maple in it? Andrew says wrong. Straight only means 2 years or older. Huh. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. At the end of the day, we could speculate all we want. I would love for them to come out on a Facebook post or a press release or a video or just anything and just address everything, lay it all out in the open. Like, for instance, Joe Dickinson was talking to me. Joe, I think you were the one talking about OCD, right? The OCD bourbons and how they get why the color's so dark by using the char that's dumped out or something and putting that back in barrels. Like, that's interesting, and maybe something like that is the reason certain people's whiskey is dark. I don't know. But Adam, no, I don't, because I have a backup of it that I'm probably going to sell. OCD 5 limited. Bourbon means it's put into virgin oak. Okay. All right. But yeah, the whiskey, Lito's right, though. The whiskey is too good. The label was never updated for the general product. Yeah. Again, things sometimes seem a little convenient. That's all. So bourbon then. So, okay, guys. So bourbon. I don't know. Yeah, if you add color or flavor, you can't call it bourbon. Right. And I legitimately don't think they're doing that. I really don't think they're doing that. And you know, one of the reasons I don't think they're doing that is because, look, this 6-year pick, this 6-year barrel pick, look at it. It looks like regular bourbon. It just doesn't taste like regular bourbon. So there's obviously no color added. Then if you want to go down the rabbit hole, well, it's only 6 years. So if they colored it, then people would be, why is the 6 year so dark? Let's just stick with like what it is. It's a normal colored 6-year bourbon. So then that leads me to believe there's not coloring or flavors added. I don't know. Toshi, bro. You come on. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that stuff is added, but it does seem like when you taste the rye, this rye, I don't know if the French oak thing is with the single barrels or just the batched. But I believe that this rye has some extra wood influence. Just by the way it smells and tastes. It smells and tastes almost as oaky, or maybe as oaky as the double oaked, you know? So that's curious. But yeah, Jeb, I'll be honest, I'm buying it regardless. Me too. Me too. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat, guys. Okay. Joe says the difference between their regular stock and the barrel picks is what makes it so suspicious. I've never had the regular stuff, so actually I can't speak to that. Oh, Cheech, if you're trying not to, man, resist. You got this. But also, I understand. I know, Jeb, but that's another thing that's interesting. I can't imagine their business model is to deceive customers until they're caught and then fold up shop. Doesn't make sense, yeah. The regular stock, Keith says, is 4 to 5 years old. And the other question I would have then is, you know, now that they've kind of admitted that they're sourcing, I wonder if they're sourcing from different people or if it's all from one place. Because if it's from different people, it would explain why Adam mentioned that Bruzel's pick is very nutty, and this pick that I'm tasting right now could not be less nutty. And it's just it tastes like cherries. I cannot put into words to all of you exactly how much this tastes like cherries. It is very strange, you know? So then would maybe they be getting stocks from different locations? Anyways. All right. Well, this has turned into something I did not envision it to turn into. Whiskey Problem says, supposedly they only started sourcing 2 years ago when demand started to outstrip their production. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. You could speculate all day like Travis. Like I was saying the other day, I think Tennessee Distilling Company is a fair option based on, we don't know the exact mash bill there, but we do know they say it's over 20% rye. This would be 21. It would make sense. I mean, that's what this is. This Heaven's Door. It's not close. Zach Dooley, had to pour myself some of this Whiskey Row pick. I'm glad someone else in here has it. Totally agree. This is better than my Stag Junior. It's incredible stuff. Okay. Well, Morgan, yes. If some of the stuff did not say the state of distillation on the label, and it was being sourced, then yes, that is illegal. That is a violation. You cannot do that. So yeah, but none of us, I think, are even pissed. Like nobody would even be upset about that. You know, it's like it is what it is. But I think the other stuff is more concerning, possibly. All right, guys. I think I'm going to bounce. I think. Yeah, I think it's time for me to jump off here. It's been a fun stream. I didn't mean to get into the weeds so much here at the end. And again, I want to state, at the end of this stream, let me state it again, because, you know, Sarah sent me this thing. I want to read it out loud. She sent me this Instagram. I guess it's kind of like a meme, but let me read this. Well, take this for what it is. It says, "Hey, it's me, one of the 54% of Americans who read at below a 6th grade level. Anyway, I'm just here to misinterpret your post and get irrationally angry about something you didn't say." That's how I'm starting to feel, is that, you know, you could say something and carefully word something, and people will still hear what they want to hear and take it and run with it. And sometimes I'm lurking in chat sections of streams, and I'm not talking. And people will say, "Cam said this." And I'm like, I never said that. And the person on the other end of it who's streaming will say, "He really said that? I mean, how could he say that?" It's like, because I didn't. Because you just heard what you wanted to hear. So let me emphatically state at the end of the stream again, I don't believe they're adding coloring or flavoring to their whiskey. I think there is a peculiarity with the color and the flavor profile. I don't understand it. But there are other things I don't understand that have been explained, like Barrel King using Stag and Willet barrels to get those flavor profiles, and I never experienced it. And when I see things like Joe Dickinson showing me how OCD bourbon, the Reserve or whatever that was, 5, has this flavor profile and it's super dark, and I go, okay, well, that's something I've never heard of people doing, but it makes sense that it could do that. I'm totally open. I love their whiskey. I will continue buying it any chance I get. Picks, double oaked, whatever. And again, there's no accusation here, but I think they should do themselves a service, and all of us as consumers, and clear the air in a public-facing way, with as big of a reach as they possibly can. I think that is the solution. And they shouldn't say that they're not going to do it because people are angry at them and they feel like people are taking it out. That doesn't matter. Clear the air if you can. That's what I think. Okay. Yeah, there you go, Cheech. My opinions are mine and mine alone, and I am not accusing anyone of anything. Thank you. And Jeb, this was all your fault for sending this sample, and I don't know what's happening. And yes, go subscribe to Cheech at Whiskey Encore, please. And it is time to turn the page on this one. And if they source from Buffalo Trace, I would completely believe it with this whiskey. I would completely believe it. All right, guys, I'm out. Thanks for being here. Hit that like button on your way out. Interesting stream. I didn't think we would go down this rabbit hole, but here we are. Thanks, Jeb. Making me say words carefully on this stream now because it's all your fault, dude. All right, cheers. I'm going to wrap up with this 13th Colony because it's one of the best whiskeys I've tasted in a long time. So cheers, guys.